The HOA president made one fatal mistake. She thought I was just another dumb cowboy, you know? That's how all this started. 6 months ago, I was minding my own business, fixing the porch swing that creaks if you breathe on it, when Vivian Hartwell strutted up in heels that cost more than my monthly feed bill. Click, click, click. Every step on my old wooden porch sounded like a warning shot. The barn, you'll see $180,000 worth of brand new asphalt slicing through the pasture where wildflowers used to grow. Every day, I watched the work crews pour concrete, adding thousands to their investment, like it's monopoly money and I'm just some obstacle on their board. My neighbors shake their heads. They think I've lost my mind. Why aren't you fighting, Ezra? Call a lawyer. But that's the thing about revenge. Sometimes the smartest play is to let your enemy think they're winning. While Princess Vivian's been parading around as the Queen of Magnolia Ridge, I've been digging through my grandfather's old paperwork, the kind of stuff that smells like must and memories. And what I found buried in those pages is about to turn her little victory parade into a nightmare she's never gonna forget. What would you do? Fight right away or play the long game? Tell me below. Go ahead, drop your worst neighbor horror story in the comments. My name's Ezra Mitchell. This ranch has been in my family since 1923. 200 acres of prime Texas hill country, where my granddad used to say land isn't just property. It's blood, it's bones, it's every story a family leaves behind. Out here, the air still smells like honeysuckle and honest dirt, especially in the evenings when the sun slips behind the barn and the crickets tune up for their nightly chorus. Now, about 3 years ago, my wife Sarah passed from cancer. The bills hit like a train, and even with insurance, we owed almost $400,000. Add in property taxes that go up every time you blink. And you'll see why I run cattle, board horses, and teach riding lessons on the weekends just to keep the lights on. My daughter, Melody, is working her way through law school at UT. Smart kid. Said I was violating health codes. It didn't stick, but it cost me $3,000 in legal fees. Money that should have gone towards Sarah's medical debt. She kept pushing, showing up at every county meeting, always in a suit, always with that practiced lawyer smile, making speeches about community standards and agricultural restrictions. Her complaints stacked up, roosters crowing at dawn, as if they're supposed to sleep in, cattle drinking too much water, shocking, tractors visible from the road. Lady, it's a ranch, not a country club. Every complaint brought another inspection. Was stuck playing checkers. My buddy Buck even warned me. That woman won't quit till she owns everything from here to the highway. What Buck didn't know, what nobody knew, was that I'd been holding the winning hand the whole time. See, after Vivian's latest unsightly equipment complaint, she thought she'd found her smoking gun, a 1960s county survey showing a road easement right through my ranch. One Tuesday morning, I'm mending fence when her SUV shows up with a surveyor in tow. Out steps Vivian in full lawyer mode, power suit, briefcase, and a smile that would make a rattlesnake nervous. We're here to validate the emergency access easement, she said, all fake sweetness. Now, most folks would have started yelling about trespassing, maybe grabbed a shotgun. Me? I offered them sweet tea, pulled out my phone, and started taking pictures. Mind if I document this? I said, the look on her face, like I'd just told her the Queen's crown was fake. They spent 3 hours measuring and marking, thinking they were rolling over some dumb cowboy. Meanwhile, I made calls to my title company and to Melody at UT. Here's what they missed when you farm the same dirt for generations. You learn paperwork can be more powerful than any fence or shotgun. And I had a feeling Vivian's story had some serious plot holes. Sure enough, 3 days later she filed to activate that dormant easement, complete with a 40-page traffic engineer report. The county set a hearing for Thursday, but I'd learned a thing or two fighting Sarah's medical bills. Dormant easements only activate if the original agreement was signed, sealed, and recorded. Turns out that 1967 easement was just a survey authorization, never finalized, never signed. Even better, the surveyor's notes said the agreement was void if the land stayed agricultural. Guess what? Still running cattle. The hearing was standing room only. Vivian marched in with lawyers and charts, talking about public interest. My turn, I walked up with Grandpa's papers and read the magic line about agricultural use. The board took it private, then came back and overruled me anyway, citing, "We're business partners in a development company set to make millions if my land got carved up." That's when things got nasty. Monday morning, a county inspector called, voice shaking. Said there'd been federal highway safety violations reported. By Wednesday, he was on my property with Vivian in tow. She'd hired another traffic engineer, claimed emergency vehicles couldn't reach her subdivision without a road through my ranch. The inspector found violations, broken fences I'd just fixed, inadequate barn lighting, since when do cows need street lights, and unsecured. Mine found that half the violations didn't even exist. But while I was buried in paperwork, Vivian made her boldest move yet. Thursday morning, heavy equipment rolled onto my property, bulldozers, dump trucks, the whole deal. The foreman, Pete, apologized. Lady says all permits are good. I just filmed everything. See, in Texas, if you build on someone's land without permission, you're on the hook for restoration plus damages. The bigger the project, the bigger the bill. Vivian filed a restraining order next, claimed I'd threatened her workers. Judge Miller, her neighbor, like a vulture. Anonymous reports, he announced. Now they claim my 1945 barn was unsafe, my fence posts were structural hazards, and giving free riding lessons was suddenly an illegal business. Another $45,000 in repairs, or they'd seize my cattle. I called my independent inspector again. He found that their citations violated state protection laws for family farms. Wednesday night. Diesel on the air. That broke something inside me. Not my spirit, just my patience. That evening, the news ran the story. "Do you believe this tragedy was preventable?" the reporter asked. "Thunder died because someone tried to break a rancher's spirit by killing what he loves," I said. "They just made the worst mistake of their lives." The story blew up. Farmers everywhere sent support, but here's where Vivian's arrogance caught up with her. That Friday night, while she toasted at her victory party, I found the original agricultural covenant from 1924 buried in a leather. Melody called her professors, brought in Dr. Santos from UT, and together we built a legal case that would end her empire. We let Vivian finish her road, let her dump every dollar she had into that mistake, while we documented every violation. Then we struck. Our legal team included a retired judge, law school professors, an environmental lawyer, and enough angry ranchers to fill a football. Money fast. She got desperate. Hired a high-priced lawyer who tried to get the case thrown out on civil rights grounds. Painted me as some kind of racist for defending a century-old covenant. But our evidence showed my family's history. Photos, letters, testimonials from workers of every background who called this place home. The judge sided with us. Melody walked into court with USB drives full of evidence, recordings of bribery, proof of social media attacks, payment trails for every lie. The FBI got involved. Vivian was arrested in court, her assets seized. The judge ruled the covenant enforceable. Vivian had to restore my land and pay damages. The HOA went bankrupt. Residents lost their homes. The new HOA apologized, established a fund for restoration, and left me and my. The Agricultural Defense Coalition we started now protects dozens of family farms. Texas passed a law in my name, defending agricultural heritage from fraud. Sarah's old garden is now a teaching center for kids, right where Vivian tried to build her illegal road. Thunder has a bronze memorial in the pasture. Melody is now a lawyer, fighting for families like ours. Every year, we host the Thunder Memorial Rodeo, teaching kids to ride and telling them the story of a rancher who wouldn't back down. The ache of loss never goes away, but it's filled with purpose. My granddaughter just took her first lesson on a horse named Justice. So yeah, the HOA president made one fatal mistake. She thought I was just another dumb cowboy. Turns out, all it takes is one stubborn rancher with the right paperwork to change the world. Tell me, what would you have done? Drop your stories below. If you've ever fought a bully and won, or lost, I want to hear it.